what you're reinventing in your life, a good night's sleep is going to make you so much more successful. I want to address your bedroom, your body, and getting older in terms of sleep. How's it going, Reinventers? I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. If you are reinventing yourself or planning on reinventing yourself, these videos are for you because I post weekly in order to inspire you. I want you to live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose, and I believe you can do that by reinventing yourself. If you clicked on this video and have never seen my videos before, you have done the number one thing to help me out. Thank you. If you are interested, I invite you to subscribe. Don't forget, you can also click on the thumbs up button and leave a comment. I've mentioned in a couple of my recent videos how important sleep is. No matter what you are doing in your life, what you're reinventing, whether it's a physical reinventing, if it's emotional, relationships, mental, career, no matter what you are reinventing in your life, making major changes, getting a good night's sleep is key. It will help you in so many ways. And if you get stuck or you have some sort of stumbling blocks on the way to reinventing yourself, it will help you to think through with a better, clearer mind. Because let me tell you, sleep really does help you think better and help your body. I want to break down the ways of sleeping better in 3 areas: your body, your bedroom, and getting older. A lot of my information I got from a book by Shawn Stevenson, which I have a link below if you want to check that out. Shawn Stevenson also has a podcast, which he also turns into a blog if you're interested, and he's also done some other work as well. Now, I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of what he says makes sense. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of everything he says in his book, because I've also, been Googling sleep. I've been studying sleep. I have another link below of another YouTuber from the UK who talks about sleep. I've studied some things that Mel Robbins has said about sleep. So a lot of the things I have, my thoughts and everything, are kind of a combination of all of those things, so I can't just point to one or the other. Now, when I address getting older and the issues in terms of sleeping getting older, I do have to say I did do WebMD and some other places like that on the web. In the comments below, as well as in the description, you will see timestamps. So if you want to go into a particular area, like if you want to talk about the bedroom or your body or even getting older, you can go there directly by clicking on those timestamps. So let's get into it. Sleeping well is a major key to being successful in reinventing yourself. And the first place you have to really look at, believe it or not, is your bedroom. Your bedroom needs to be your haven, a safe place. And it really has to be focused on sleep. And there's so many things that you can do. In fact, what I would challenge you to do is pick 2 or 3 things and try them out and see if it doesn't make a huge difference in your sleep. One of the first things that I have to do, and I've talked about this before, is to cut out all light. I have got to have a completely dark room. Some other things that you can do to make your bedroom a haven is make sure there's some air flowing, whether it's an overhead fan or on the desk fan. Have a plant. Plants really do help the environment, help your air. I understand if you're one of these people who just can't keep plants alive, but find out, succulents, cacti, there are a lot of plants that don't need a whole lot of care that are pretty hardy. I know that a lot of plants that don't need a whole lot of care that are pretty hardy. I know that the bedding, what kind of sheets are you sleeping on? You don't have to do 1,000 count, sheets, but get some really that are comfortable and cool. And speaking of bedding, you can get bedding, whether underneath you or over you, that makes your room cool or lowers your body temperature, which is a really big thing, and I'll get to that in a minute. But invest in some good bedding, whether it's a heavy blanket, whether it's a cooling blanket. You know what you probably need in order to sleep. In other words, I know when I start out in the night, I like to have something heavy on me, but by the end of the night, I want to be cool. So I'm sort of one of these weird people that starts out one way, goes the other way. But just make sure that your environment is a place that you want to sleep. Now, Sean Stevenson really says that mattresses are one of the worst in terms of the chemicals that are put into our mattresses, and you really need to invest in a really good mattress that not only helps you sleep but does not contain a lot of those chemicals. I suggest looking into that. Now, I have not changed my mattress according to what he has suggested, but that is something to look into, and certainly get a mattress that you find comfortable. I like a very firm mattress, but you might like something a little bit softer. Look at what you're wearing. Make sure whatever you're wearing is comfortable. I know that one time I read this somewhere that the best sleep you can have is if you're not wearing anything but socks. I don't know about that, but I know that Sean Stevenson does recommend wearing socks because it can help you if you tend to get cold at night. Now, what I do is I have a hat that I start off the night in and I end up taking off, or it falls off in the middle of the night, and that's usually the best thing for me. I'm usually cold when I first get into bed. Did I mention that? I probably have. And speaking of having a temperature in your room that's cold, make sure you lower your thermostat. So I know that my husband and I have to compromise, and it is a low thermostat, probably not as low as Stevenson would recommend, but I do have it down maybe 68, 69 at night, and that really does help my sleep. Also, a noisemaker is something that does white noise, can be helpful, because then you don't hear all, especially if you live in some place, whether it's in the country or the city, sometimes things can be very noisy depending on where you are. So having some kind of noise maker or white noise maker or a soothing noise like rain or the ocean, all of those things can help you get a good night's sleep. Also recommended is a humidifier, but I would also recommend a diffuser. A humidifier puts moisture in the air. It helps it easier to breathe. A lot of times if you have a lot of plants in your bedroom, they also do the same work as a humidifier and don't take as much electricity and can really help the air quality in your room. I know that a couple of weeks ago, we had put all of our plants outside, and all of a sudden the temperature was going down to 32, so we had to bring a bunch of plants in, and I had to put them all in my living room, like up on the mantle, so the cats wouldn't get to them. And when I got up the next morning, I was breathing so great in that front room while I was doing my devotional, because all of those plants are really purifying the air. Also, I recommend a diffuser. We use a diffuser every night. We have certain scents that we have. Lavender is a great one. If you have a blend that helps you sleep, or if you have a blend that helps you breathe well, those are also really good to help. All of those essential oils that you can put in the air that help your body to calm down and relax. And the last thing, and you may have heard of this, is get rid every single electronic device in your bedroom. Televisions, landline, does anybody have a landline? Cell phones, tablets, computers, all of those things, even when they are off, they still emit these low frequencies, which can really mess up your sleep cycle. I know that one of the things that I have started doing is making sure our bedroom is simply for sleep and sleep alone. I'm not bringing a device like a Kindle in the bedroom with me at night. And I was, reading and then going to sleep and putting the Kindle next to me on the bed. It's no longer in the bedroom. I think I'm getting a better night's sleep because it's not in there. A lot of people use their cell phone as an alarm, or they're worried about they might get a phone call. Well, if you've got a bathroom attached to your bedroom, put your phone in there. If you've got a big closet where you could stick your phone, put it in there so it's not in the room with you. And that goes along with also, don't be looking at the phone right before bed, but I'll get to that in a minute. But remove all electronics out of your bedroom. Now that you've created your bedroom into a haven and a safe place to sleep, let's talk about what you can do with your body to help you sleep better. Now, some things are things you should do and some things that you not do. So let's start with things that you should do. One of the things that it's highly recommended by several people is to get sunshine. Now I know sunscreen is important and everything, but get outside and get some sun. Getting enough sunshine, and it's about vitamin D, but it's just getting your circadian rhythm kind of in balance is so important. So get out and get some sun. Especially the earlier in the day you can do it is really good for your body. But the most sun that you can get, we spend so many times indoors, especially since we've been in this pandemic, but the more you can get out and get some sun, the better out. And while you're out there, take off your shoes. There is a theory these days, and Sean Stevenson really believes it, that we need to be grounded. We've lost touch literally with the earth. So when you're outside getting some sun, take off your shoes and put your feet in the grass, put your feet on the dirt, get grounded. I have a link below that tells you a little bit more about being grounded and what grounding can help you in terms of your body, but it really can help your sleep. Another thing that can help you is to have a particular time to go to bed at night. I have talked about getting up at the same time every morning, and I do think that's important. But I've talked about a little bit about getting your sleep. I had somebody recently in a comment saying that they sleep, I don't know, about 3 or 4 hours a night, and then they get up and they do some things, they go back to sleep. But you have to remember the sweet spot for sleeping, for everybody really, is from the hours of 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. It has to do with the earth and our circadian rhythms and being human beings. And I won't go into all the explanation, but if you check out Sean Stevenson's book, you can find out more, or some of his podcasts also talk about this. But if you can get in as much sleep as you can between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., you will get better sleep. I tried my best to get to bed by 10:30, and I think it was 11 o'clock last night. But I know that the more sleep I get in those 4 hours, the better off I am. So aim for that. Aim for a good bedtime and try to get up at the same time every day as well, and that will really help you out. Also, getting less sleep is really not good for you. So you need to find out what your sweet spot is for your own body. Some people do well with 7 hours, some 8.5, 9 hours. Figure out how many hours you need to sleep and, juggle your time around. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's going to cut into my television, or that's going to cut into my exercise or whatever. But you can change those things around. Those are things that are movable. But sleep, especially at the nighttime sleep that we really need for our bodies, it helps us to really rejuvenate our bodies every night. You can't move that around. And so to make sure that your body is getting what it needs, make sure you have that good bedtime, move other things around so that sleep can be the best thing for you. A couple of things that you can do to relax your body is, now Sean Stevenson calls it the big O, okay? He says that is helpful with or without a partner to help you get a good night's sleep. And along with that is some kind of meditation. If you are able to relax and get your mind off, and there are so many ways to do it. You can have, a recording on your phone. I know I said take electronics out of your bedroom, but if you have it from the other room, or some way that you can listen to that. Or a lot of times if you've done a meditation long enough, you can hear in your voice, you can repeat a mantra back to yourself. You can have a saying or a prayer or something that goes in your head and you repeat it to yourself. Or you listen to your breaths, or you breathe deeply, or you tense and relax your body, or relax your body from your toes up to your head. There are so many ways that you could have meditation and a relaxing time in bed trying to get yourself to sleep. And those things will also help you if you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, which I'm going to get to in just a bit. So those are some of the things that you can do to help your sleep. Now, there are some things that you need to stop doing. I mentioned having no electronics in your room, but you also need to limit your exposure to electronics right before bed, like 30 minutes before bedtime, no electronics. If you are watching a movie or something, you can have something that takes care of the blue light, like there's special glasses. Sometimes our devices will have special apps on them that will help us not to get the blue light right before bedtime. Limit your exposure right before bedtime. Some other things that you need to really watch out for are eating, exercise, alcohol, and what's the other thing? And caffeine. I was like, what's the other thing? Let's go to eating. Don't eat before you bed, because that really actually, and I actually read this in a book about intermittent fasting, is your body needs that time, that downtime. If you eat, it sends the wrong message to your body and kind of gets everything going so that you think, oh, I'm going to wake up. So you need to stop eating. Don't eat right before bed. I know, where do you get the idea of having like a cup of hot milk before bed? I'm not really sure where that came from, but don't do that. Also, make 2 or 3 hours after you eat before you go to bed. Same thing with exercise. Now, I know if you have a schedule where you work really late in the evening, it may be hard not to exercise after 5 p.m., but that's what I've read. Don't exercise after 5 p.m. Now, like I said, that might not be good, but don't exercise like within 30 minutes of going to bed. Don't exercise within 2 hours of going to bed. Give your body a time to get over the exercising and to adjust itself and get ready for sleep. The same thing with alcohol. Alcohol right before bed is not good either. It can interrupt your sleeping patterns and make your sleep less productive, is the best way to put it. In fact, I know that Sean Stevens has said, think of happy hour, like 4 to 6 p.m. That's the time. If you're going to have alcohol, that's when you should have it. After that, it's really not good to do that. Also, caffeine. Now, this is something I have to really watch. My caffeine intake, I did not realize this, but caffeine can stay in your system up to 8 hours. And I think in my system, it can be even longer. So after 2 p.m., I cannot have any caffeine, whether it's tea or chocolate or, coffee. Now, if it's decaffeinated, I will drink it. I have some more to say about drinking when we talk about getting older, but watch your caffeine intake. I know there are some people out there who say, oh, I could just drink caffeine all night and I'll be fine, I can go to sleep. Well, you say you can go to sleep, but your sleep is probably not going to be as deep and as good as if you didn't have caffeine. So those are some things to watch out. And a couple other things to think about in terms of your body is to think about some supplements that you can take. I think Sean Stevenson recommends magnesium. He recommends drinking chamomile tea. He also recommends, I think, something called kavi or kavi. I don't know. I've never tried that. So that may be something that you can look up as well. But one of the things he does not recommend is melatonin. I know a lot of people take that because it helps you to relax and get to sleep. And it's something your body naturally produces. But apparently if you take too much, your body does not learn how to produce it and actually interrupts your sleep. So now if you're jet lagged or you really got to go to sleep and you're really having difficulty, it might be something to take, but don't take it on a regular basis. Now, for those of us who are getting older, we have some additional issues that we have to deal with. So I was looking at some of the things on like WebMD and some other sites. I think the article called it sleep hygiene, and I really liked that idea of sleep hygiene. But some of the issues that we have when we get older are incontinence. We have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. We have some health issues that keep us awake, like restless leg syndrome is one of them. Sometimes we have a lot of digestive problems at night. We also may have some stress issues that we didn't have before we were younger or before retirement. So all of these things can impact our sleep. So some of the advice that I read was some of the things I've already covered that's good for everybody. But meditation is one big thing. Learning ways to relax before sleep and if you wake up in the middle of the night are always really, really good. And also one of the things that that the article talked about is a lot of times there's a lot of stress, believe it or not, with getting older and being retired. There are financial stresses. Sometimes there's loss of partners or friends, and that can really impact our sleep. So the more we know how to relax and have meditation and ways to settle ourselves, the better off we are. Now, one of the big things is when you get older, 40 plus, is you will notice you're getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and sometimes multiple times a night. Often this is because of our bladders. They're just older. But also, it could be your medication. So check out your medication. See if there's something that maybe your medication is causing you to having to urinate frequently at night. Talk to your doctor. Maybe there's another time during the day that you could take your medication that would not impact you as much. Or I'm not saying to stop taking your medication, but just, learn what things that you need to do. But one of the big things is don't drink as much at night. And this is one of the hardest part for me. I realized last night I made a cup of tea and it was like 9 o'clock, and I thought I'm getting up more often to go to the bathroom tonight. And that's exactly what happened. I got up twice. One thing that the medical sites said, that getting up once is not, that's kind of normal. But if you're getting up more than that, then there may be other issues that are going on. So that, for one thing, I'm going to have to learn how to do is to stop drinking a lot at night. Drink more during the day, but once I get to supper time, I just have to cut that out and not drink as much. Also, when you're older, you really have to watch your caffeine and alcohol intake. Now, I talked about that earlier, but that also can make your sleep more restless and cause you to get up more during the night. So those are some things just to keep in mind when you're getting older. Another thing that they suggested is to elevate your legs 30 minutes before going to bed. I don't know why that helps, but actually an hour or more before going to bed. Elevating your legs is helpful. I don't know how far up, but at least, like right now, I've got my legs elevated on an ottoman. So try that and see if that helps your sleep. Another suggestion was, if you have a hard time relaxing and going to bed, or if you're really hot before you go to bed, is to take a 20-minute warm bath. In fact, I would recommend putting some essential oil like lavender or something in it. 20 minutes now, not an hour, you're not for a long time. What that does is not only relaxes you, but it also lowers your body temperature. So when you get out of bed, your body temperature is lowered, go straight to bed afterwards, and you really can get a better night's sleep. As I've said before, make sure your bedroom is a sleep zone only, no electronics. Don't, be doing, your puzzles or talking on the phone or whatever. It's not a social place. It is a place to sleep. So make sure it's a haven for sleep. And also it said recommended getting sun. So a lot of times older people don't get as much sun. Wear your sunscreen, but make sure you get out and get some sunshine. And another thing that happens often when you retire is that you have more downtime, and that can actually make it more disruptive going to sleep at night and getting a good night's sleep. So if you are retired, I've talked about this before, is make sure you're active, whether you're volunteering or doing things around the home or have hobbies. Do something so that you're active and you don't have as much downtime. And along with that, avoid afternoon naps. Now, this is one thing that I'm having a hard time with, because I really like in the afternoon is to sit down with the computer and watch ASMR videos. Yes, that's my weakness. I find them very relaxing and I really do doze off. Now, I may not sleep more than 20-30 minutes, but according to the website, that really can disrupt your sleep. So that's something to think about. Now, I told my husband about this and he said, nope, I gotta have my nap. But make sure you're not sleeping a long time during the day. If you're gonna have a nap, make sure it's a power nap, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so that you're not, make sure it's not disrupting your sleep. And if you're wondering if it's impacting your sleep, try this. Try not to take naps and keep a journal. In fact, why don't you just try that anyway? Keep a sleep journal and, write down how many hours you sleep, if your sleep was restless, what worked, what didn't work. You got up a couple times during the night. You think it's because you had, a glass of wine at 9 o'clock or some tea before going to bed, even if it's decaffeinated. And I have to say this, when I drink tea at night, it's decaffeinated, but it still can impact my sleep. So watch what you're doing, keep a journal. And if things are really bad with your sleep, one of the things that's recommended is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which is it's called CBT-I. A lot of there are very few therapists that are actually trained in this, but if you can find one, and these days everything's on Zoom and online anyway, on the phone, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is the kind of therapy that you need if you've tried all these other things and it's simply not working. Well, I hope this video has been helpful for you. In the comments below, let me know if you have tried one or more of these things to help you get a good night's sleep, or if there's something I haven't mentioned that has worked for you. I would love to hear about that. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. Good night and sweet dreams.